Welcome back to the program. We're looking at the 10th and final for Sha Tin Sunday afternoon, and it's Class 3. Over the mile, 60 to 80 is the rating span for this final race of the day, and we've got Shanghai Chi drawing gate 1 for Alberto Sanna, Not Usual Talent, second at his last two. Unicron Jewelry, a last start winner. Earth Trilogy, unlucky last start, but he's got more weight and a wider barrier here. Splendid timing. Flying Quest Starship. Of course, world famous Gains a start now, the former UK galloper who also won a race in France. He's on a rating of 76 with Tony Cruz. Witness Hunter had blinkers last start for the first time. He wears them again. Defining Moment, Ever Laughed, and I Do is up into this class for the first time after a good win last start where he defeated Dashing Dart. But it was worth noting too that he was very upset prior to the start of that race and still got the job done. He was vetted behind the gate. Starlit Night, he's been to Chun Fa over the last 30 days. So, good contest on paper. Get the feeling it'll be a good betting race as well. And let's start firstly with the speed map here, Tom, and have a look and see how things might unfold. Potentially the paces we can see there is good to slow. And rolling to the lead, maybe Starlit Night. Earth Trilogy, will they be forced from the wide gate to push forward? Yeah,
well, he's probably sitting a little bit further forward than most would like him to sit. There's no clear and obvious leader in this race. You've got a horse like Starlit Night up the front there who looks like in this kind of race he might set the pace. Witness Hunter, you'd expect him to be forward. You've got Manna from Heaven now. Manna from Heaven was actually up on the pace in a recent trial, so if they decide to maybe go forward with him, he might just sit a little bit closer to the speed rather than being three back the fence, because he did actually trial okay up on the pace, but no clear and obvious leader in this final race.
All right, Paul, who's been making tracks in the morning?
Oh, well, the first horse we're going to have a look at here is Not Usual Talent. He's in great form at the moment. Ran a really nice second last time, and he looks good. He travels nicely. He's come on, and he's improved since his last couple of seconds as well. So he looks well placed. Does Not Usual Talent. Earth Trilogy is very unlucky in the same race, actually. He couldn't get a run down the inside. He's come out of it no problems as well. So he travels fluently down the back straight as well. So not a bad piece from him. And he seems to be improving from start to start. Does like Sha Tin as well. And I Do comes in with a really light weight here. And he's quite keen, as you can say. He can fizz up a little bit, this horse. But it's not bad from him. And he works nicely enough here this morning as well.
All right, well, let's focus on one of two last start winners to start with in Unicron Jewelry. He was amongst a number of horses competing against him again. There he is there in the pink cap. Of course, he looks better with an arrow going towards him as opposed to just a straight line. Not Usual Talent out here, covered some ground when they cornered in. Others to take a look at. Now, Earth Trilogy in particular, Tom, he was down there on the rail, and Paul, I know you were quite keen on him last start. He just got held up for a run at a crucial stage. Witness Hunter was ahead of him when they cornered in. We also had Shanghai Chi alongside of them. And Ever Laugh had made his dash for home just before the home straight. So there's a bit to take in here from this race.
Yeah, there certainly is. It was a pretty good performance, I thought, on this occasion from Unicron Jewelry. Not Usual Talent was the one that went round at massive odds 2 runs ago and ran a decent race, and he's got another good race here again. He's drawn quite nicely as well for Keith Young. And I thought a pretty good run from Earth Trilogy, because he didn't have all favours early in the straight, Paul.
No, he got held up, lost his momentum, and once he's got his momentum back, hit the line very strongly. So it was a really good run from him. Good run from Not Usual Talent, because he was wide for a little while as well.
He probably should have won that, really, shouldn't he, Paul?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's got more weight to carry this time, but a senior rider going on and a wide barrier to go with it. The other last start winner in the race, I mentioned before when we looked at the race card, I Do. He got really stirred up behind the gates. He was vetted, still managed to get the job done. It would have been a concern for favourite backers, but he got it done in the end. I thought it was a good, solid effort, but he only beat Dashing Dart. This is a lot harder.
Yeah, it is stepping up here to Class 3 for the first time, but he's shown that he looks relatively progressive. Here he was really being urged along, but over this last 150 metres, this is where he's really dug in deep. He was midfield, and he's just overpowered them here late in the piece.
Yeah, good run from him, and I think he can cope with the rise in grade as well. So, look, I've got him in on a minor line here. It's quite a strong race this one.
It is a strong race, but yeah, well placed down there with a lightweight and a decent enough barrier. Now we're going to go to the trials, and you mentioned when we're looking at the speed map, Tom, that Manna from Heaven was more forward in a recent trial. That's where he was, and splendid timing. His first 2 runs have been okay. He's got to lift a little bit, But I think he's gradually getting there.
It was very awkward at the start in the race that was won by Kasi Farasi, but this trial, as I said, he was up on the pace. I thought he was improved. He's only beaten a couple of rivals home here in his 2 runs. Martin Harley rides for Ricky Yu. He's got a good gate this time as well. He had a very wide stall last start, but we know he's got winning form overseas, 2 wins from 15, along with 6 other minor placings. So he seemed to go quite well in that trial, I thought.
Yeah, it was a good improved piece of work from him, wasn't it, really?
Either of those two interest you enough to put him in the tips, Paul?
No.
No? All right. What about the newcomer? Let's take a look at his most recent trial. Had some 2-year-old form from the UK and also won a race in France. His name world famous here over there. He was called Master Brewer. There he is there, arrowed in his trial.
Yeah, barrier number 14 for him with Matthew Poon aboard. Look, he trialled OK here. It wasn't too bad. Tony Cruz horse. It'll be interesting to see if they go forward with him because a lot of his horses do like to go forward, Tony Cruz.
Fair point.
A couple of wins over 14 and 1600 metres. Won at Newmarket in a novice race and then won a 2-year-old conditions race at Longchamp. I think I'm just happy to see how he goes this time round.
Yeah. He's one of these Northern Bred Hemisphere horses who gets that allowance. Actually, he's the highest rated horse in this race off a rating of 76, so worth taking note of that. All right, let's get the tips from the team, Paul.
I'm going to stick with the Earth Trilogy. Thought it was a really good run from him last time. He got held up at a vital stage. Not usual talent, won't be far away. He comes out of the same race. I do him for 3rd. And defining moment coming back now here to Sha Tin. He's run some pretty good races, this horse. He raced at Happy Valley 2 starts ago. Sha Tin last time, and now he's back here. He'd be 1 for odds, I think. He's not too far away from doing something. Has caught the eye. 5, 2, 14, 12.
2 on top for me in the last. Not usual talent. He probably didn't deserve to finish as close as he did last time out. Caught 3 wide, beaten in the shadows. So it was a pretty game run. We missed him at the big price 2 runs ago when he ran 2nd, but I think he can go close here and win. Earth Trilogy, Main Danger, Unicron Jewellery and Witness Hunter. But happy to take the each way price, or each way anyway, about not usual talent, currently at just under 6.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tom. I think he's been pretty good his last few, and he was unlucky not to get the job done last start. I think I do might be the Quinella horse. Man who's been in form of late is Paul O'Sullivan. Let's have a look at what he's got going on the weekend and also his last 6 race meetings. Paul Nally, Paul O'Sullivan has been really hitting his straps.
Yeah, 25 runners, 3 winners, 6 seconds, 3 thirds, 48% first 3 rate. So wow. He's definitely having a good back end to the season. Is Paul O'Sullivan, and the horse, let's have a look at his runners. Duke Y, he's only had the 1 start. They normally improve for the run, those Paul's horses. Money Marshall, New Dynamic is a first starter. Sonic Fighter, I think, is a good chance. I think he can win. Victoria Seeker, Amazing Luck, Smart Patch and Starship will come from the back in the last.
It was always going to happen because he sort of had 2 teams. Last year's team that had been probably rated out of races and the new up-and-coming team.
That's right. It's something he has mentioned in the media over the last few weeks on numerous occasions about the new stock in the yard. Best bets time, Paul.
Happy Alumni. He has missed the start. But I think he's over the 1400 metres. He can still give them a bit of a start and win. So I think he's a really nice upcoming horse, is Happy Alumni. So race 6, number 5. And we'll take a chance with the first starter, Fairy Floss. He should be 20-odd to 1 in the first race. His trial with New Zealand was good before he got here. And his trials here haven't been too bad. So it's a pretty race with not much depth, the first. The play of the day, 245 in race 6.
Righto, my best of the day it comes up in the 3rd. Everyone's joy. Frankie Law, Zach Purton has some good gate speeds. 1200 will be probably a little bit short of his best. He'll get over further in time, so he's the best. And the value comes up as a Simulate race 9 horse 12. Matthew Chadwick, Jimmy Ting has won with blinkers over 1400 metres, so like him. And the play of the day will go with King Opie. Simulate's thrown in there with world record Lean Perfection and Tornado Twist in a trio, throwing a few about.
I like the bookends, actually. I'll actually label Marvellous World in the first. I'm not a huge tipper of horses having their first start for a best bet, but this is a race that lacks a lot of depth, and I think Martin Harley can get it done here on Marvellous World in the first. I've made Happy Cooperation my long shot. He's very close to a drop in class, but he might get handy to the speed. There doesn't look to be a huge amount of it in race 4, so number 13 for Keith Young. And the play in the Class 5, race 2, 2, 4, 8, 12. Put those in a Q and a QP and maybe the trio as well. And I think you'll get some value and a result there in that second race of the day. Fingers crossed anyway. So that is the card. Big 10 races, a race from Japan as well. And then next weekend, we've got a couple of Group 2 races, Beauty Generation back.
Yep, we certainly do. We've seen Beauty Generation. We saw Pakistan star at the trials as well. He looked very good, I thought, in that recent trial. The best I'd seen him for quite some time.
Yes, in the new stable of Paul O'Sullivan and Matthew Chadwick back aboard. Thanks for your company on Racing to Win. We look forward to joining you from the track at Sha Tin. It's an early start, 12:45 p.m. Hong Kong time. Good night.
Good night.